It's August and I'm so conflicted on whether I want to continue the summer vibe as long as possible or start preparing for fall and start just pretending it's fall. I'm so conflicted, especially with the weather here because it's been so gloomy, raining a couple days, but also you step outside and it's like 95 degrees. It's like, I don't know what I should be doing right now. I have been just looking out. I'm like, this is perfect reading weather. But then I do step outside. I'm like, is it? With that being said, I've been seeing a lot of people titling things Augtober. Never heard of it before. But my way of celebrating this right now is that mentally, I'm like going into fall. But I actually missed a lot of summer reads because I have an annual summer book slump. And I still want to read them, and I feel like when I get out there and it's 95 degrees, it'll be the perfect setting for it, and when I get glimpses of the sun throughout the day. But then in the evenings, when it gets all moody and dark, and it does rain a lot of evenings here, I can pretend it's fall. I could start getting ready for fall. I'm ready to start eating pumpkin flavored things. I think I'm gonna start decorating. We'll see. But that's what today's video is gonna be. Me reading summer books that I missed, but also easing into fall. The best of both worlds. Summer's end is finally coming, and I'm so excited. Actually, there's still over a month left, but mentally. 3 of the books that I knew for a fact I needed to read this year, and I could not let them roll over to next year, even if I had to read them in December, are right here, but we're getting to them actually in the summer. So The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. Christina Forrest has another series that I couldn't get into, but I was always intrigued by. I couldn't get into the first book, and I always wondered if I should just skip it and go to the next one, but then I know that the entire series is following sisters, and I'm like, no, when I'm ready to finally get into the first one, then I'll go for it and read all of them. But I've still been so curious about Christina Forrest as an author, and so when I saw that this was being released here, I'm like, it's happening. I'm finally going to read this author. This is just the most perfect summery cover ever. It's so beautiful, and I've heard great things about this. I haven't heard a single bad thing, so I'm excited for this one. And then we have Dolly All the Time by Annabelle Monaghan. I actually read It's a Love Story earlier this year. It's a book that I did miss last summer, and I was so mad at myself. I was like, this was so good. I really loved it. And I said, this year I'm not missing Annabelle Monaghan's release. I actually do remember hearing that this book has like a Pretty Woman style, or like it was loosely inspired by that, if you know the movie with Julia Roberts. And based on hearing that, I actually watched that movie earlier this year because I remember in It's a Love Story, they were referencing The Notebook so much, and low-key, they spoiled the entire Notebook for you in that book. There's nothing wrong with that because it's such an old movie, and even though I never saw it, I knew the premise of it and I knew everything that like goes down in it, the whole point of it all. The spoiling it thing it didn't really matter because I did know, even though I hadn't seen it. But then I watched The Notebook because of that book, and it was so good. I thought it was just one of those things that like, it's so hyped up and maybe I would find it to be a little bit overrated, and I was worried about that, but no, I'm with everyone. It's so good and I loved it, and it was filmed here where I live, so that's so fun. I love young Ryan Gosling. Not that old Ryan Gosling, I don't love him too, but something about young Ryan Gosling just feels so nostalgic. Anyway, I'm going off on a rant. My point is that I was so excited for this book that I was like preparing for it. I made sure I watched Pretty Woman, so if there are any references or just knowing what people were talking about when they said it's like loosely inspired, I'll definitely be in the know. I think I'm actually gonna read this one first because I feel like this one just is going to be the most like descriptive when it comes to the summer atmosphere. So maybe let's get this one out of the way as soon as possible while we still can. So I think I'm gonna start with this one, The Misconnection by Tia Williams. Another one that I'm so excited about. Tia Williams is such an amazing author, and Ever since this was announced, I've been excited. It's probably one of my most anticipated reads for the year, so definitely getting this one as well. I actually don't know how summery this book is. Like, I know that she's going on a flight to Paris, and that feels like, my first instinct is like vacation, but I'm pretty sure she's actually going on a work trip. Yeah, on a flight to Paris for work. A chance encounter with her type changes everything. So yeah, I have no idea how summery this actually is gonna be, but we're gonna get to it anyway. I'm gonna read in this order: Dolly All the Time, The Misconnection, and then The Summer Girlfriend. Thought there would be way more pumpkin stuff out in the grocery store. There wasn't much, but I did get pumpkin spice almond creamer. And honestly, once you start your day with a coffee that's like pumpkin, maple, cinnamon flavored, that's already off to a good start and feeling like fall. And pumpkin spice cookie dough, I've actually never tried this brand, but this was the only brand that had pumpkin spice, so I got these. I also got a regular thing of cinnamon rolls and a can of pumpkin puree, and I'm just gonna like roll these out and spread the pumpkin in the middle, because I feel like the pumpkin flavored ones, the ones that already come pumpkin flavored, I literally can never find them. And again, it is early, maybe they'll be there in October, but we're getting innovative. I'm halfway through Dolly All the Time, like exactly halfway through. And I'm honestly not loving it as much as I expected to. I'm liking it, but I just had way higher expectations and I'm so sad about it. I don't really said what this is about. I mentioned the fake dating of it all and the pretty woman of it all, but it's basically about Dolly, who lives in Boston with her 13-year-old son, but she comes home for the summer to help her dad with his business, and also her brother was in an accident and he has schizophrenia, so he needs a little bit of extra help as well. And so she's home for the summer to help out. The male main character, he is from a family, a really rich family that basically owns the town. Like, his last name is Whitfield and they're in Whitfield, Rhode Island. His name is Stuart. I feel like my thing with this, the first like 128 pages, I remember thinking I wish there were more run-ins. Like, most of that, there were run-ins, but most of that we were learning about Dolly, and I loved learning about her. I love learning about her family and her relationships with people. She's just such a nice person that takes care of everyone, and I'm loving her so much so far. But I just wish there was more run-ins between them to like start to create that tension, but there wasn't. Obviously, we crossed that bridge. We got past that. They're finally like interacting more. They made the arrangement to start fake dating, and now that Stuart is in the picture, I find him a little bit boring. Just a little bit. I like him, but he is a little bit boring. I kind of just feel like I don't know what he's thinking. I always say when I pick up a single POV book, I like it a lot, and I am always like, I forget how much I love single point of view, but at the same time, I'm like, what is Stuart thinking? I would love to know what's going on in that head of his. So I don't really feel much attachment to him as a character, but I do love Dolly, so it's going okay. It's just not going as great as I thought it would be. Also, I feel like I've read so many romance books about men who are billionaires and rich. That's literally like a genre on its own, like billionaire romance books. And for some reason, there's always a way to skirt around the fact that rich people can be really pretentious and annoying. And I feel like with this one, we're not skirting around that fact. I mean, it's not Stuart himself. It's just like his family. It's not him. It's his family that we are having to meet as well. And it's just like, rich people are annoying. With their multiple boats, like no one needs more than one boat. Not even a family needs more than one boat. If you have a boat, your dad doesn't need a boat. If your grandfather has a boat, you don't need a boat. Because you're all gonna go on one boat and hang out anyway. You don't need more than one boat. That's how I'm feeling about it. I kind of really want to finish it today. Not because I want to like binge it or anything, because I just want to be done with it. Like I'm ready to move on to something else that I could potentially enjoy more. Not in a way that I would ever DNF this. It's good. I just wish I was like over the moon about it. I'm craving that feeling. Like I'm reading it and it's like, yeah, this is good, but I want to have a feeling of like, oh my god, I can't put this down. I'm not having that feeling, unfortunately. But yeah, good morning, and let's try to finish this today. The weather that I had in the beginning of this video that was gonna help me to get into the fall spirit, the cloudy, really stormy weather, it was so good, but it's gone now. I feel like summer is fighting back so badly. It's like 92 degrees, so I'm gonna go have a swim because I can't do it. Summer, you win. At least it'll be good for the setting of my book, I guess. So I'm gonna read by the pool. At some point in this video, I will start preparing for fall and I will get into that mindset. I'm not giving up, but I can't take the heat right now. I gotta go take a swim. No idea how people go to the pool or the beach and read their books without getting water damage. It's so bad. But it's okay. I was like kind of annoyed by it, but it's fine. Whatever. It dried up fine. I only have 100 pages left, and so I'm definitely gonna finish it today. I definitely got into it more, and I'm liking him more. And their dynamic is just really sweet. I love how I said earlier, she's the one that takes care of everyone, and he obviously has made it his duty to take care of her. And I love his relationship with her son. I'm really loving it. I just needed to have some patience. This is the type of like slow burn that I would absolutely eat up if I wasn't like kind of just getting out of a slump, you know? I think I just needed it to go a little bit faster. Sorry, my glasses were fogging up. Anyway, I think just in the position that I was in, I wanted it to go a little quicker, but no, I'm loving it. I'm loving it now. There was a part of this when he was like smiling at his phone, and she was like, he's not usually smiling at his phone. It's usually just business on his phone. So she was getting a little jealous in her head. And then it turns out he was texting her son. That is so cute. I love it. It took some time, but I'm loving it so far. I also love their obsession with tea because Dolly doesn't like coffee, so he makes it his duty to make sure she always has her tea, and they're just always having tea together, and it's just so wholesome. I kind of love them. Low-key, I feel like this is how Annabelle Mona and her stories always kind of start out, because even in It's a Love Story, I didn't hate the guy, but I was kind of just like, I don't know about him. He's a little questionable, but I just feel like that one kind of went along sooner. I think in that one too, I loved the family so much, and so I could see her like just blending into that family so well, whereas this family's a little and I don't see it for her. So I think that's just the difference here, but it's going a lot better, and my rating's definitely coming up, and I can't wait to see how it ends. So I'll finish the 100 pages and I'll let you know my final thoughts. I did not like that third act conflict. The way that it was, actually, no, it's not that I didn't like the third act conflict because we all saw that coming, but the way that he handled it, I did not like that. I did not like that at all. That was bad. That was a horrible way to handle that. Why am I feeling traumatized by it? I also don't like the ending, but I can't tell you what I don't like about the ending without spoiling it, obviously, so I won't do that. Maybe at the end, the very end of this video, I'll get into spoilers, but yeah, I don't like that ending. The way that he handled things, ick. The ending, ick. Ew. I am glad, obviously, happily ever after, and I'm happy for Dolly. She deserves it. But good luck with this one. I feel like just when I started to like him, he disappointed me. Annabelle Monaghan still has such amazing writing though, and her summer books are just so perfect and atmospheric. There's a lot about this that I liked. Actually, it's mostly about like the writing and Dolly as a character, but this is a romance book. I need to like the two people getting into a relationship. I need to like them both. And I do not know how I feel about Stuart. Also, I hate that name. Also, just remembering that someone's name in this book is Busy, so maybe Stuart isn't that bad. I feel like this book started out somewhere around 4, and then I was really starting to like it and get into it, and it became like a 4.5, and now I'm thinking 3.5. I have to sit with it and give you my rating at the end, but I think it might be a 3.5. I'm trying to find positive things to say. I swear there are positive things to say, but I can't stop thinking about that ending. And I can't stop thinking about that third act. Like, that might have been one of the worst third act conflicts I've read in a while. Maybe I am projecting. Like, the way that he handled it, maybe I'm harmed from experiencing that. And I can't accept that Dolly would move on from that. Anyway, I'm moving on from this book. Dolly, you have fun with your Stuart and all his money. I'm ready to read my next book, which I already said I'm reading The Misconnection next. So I'm gonna read that before bed, and we'll see how much reading I actually get done. Sometimes like trying to jump into another book when one book has had an impact on you is hard, and I do have a feeling that this might keep me up at night, so we'll see how much of The Misconnection I get read. So I am on page 25, which is chapter 3 of The Misconnection. I'm already loving it so far. I'm not that far in, but off the bat, I'm just having really good feelings about it. The main character, Sasha, she at the beginning is isolating herself and she's really depressed, and we kind of see that something has happened to her in the past and she's just very fearful and mistrusting of people, so she has just isolated herself in her apartment. And then she kind of snaps out of it and is like, I need to get back to work, I need to get back to life. So she's going on this work trip to Paris, and she's in first class. As she's there, the man sitting next to her, they start to talk and they start to connect a little bit, but she is afraid of flying. She used to love the red eyes and everything, but now she's afraid of flying, so she's on Xanax. So she's like in and out. They're also like having drinks together. And she falls asleep and she doesn't get his name, but they did have a good conversation, hence the missed connection. So she gets off of this flight and she's still like a little bit drunk, a little bit woozy from the Xanax, and she emails her coworkers trying to find him, and that email is just so funny. There's so much mess in it because it's just like typos. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I literally ended off just reading the email, which was really funny. I feel like Tia Williams has always been good at like adding humor into her books, and I'm interested to see what happened to her and why she even started isolating herself in the first place. So it's going good so far. He told her one detail about himself, which I think is gonna help her to find him. I'm excited to see where it goes. I randomly have the urge right now to like move this around. So I might do that, and if it sucks, I'll just put it back. The goal here was just to get the chair like on a wall. And I know this empty space looks kind of weird, but I was thinking I could decorate. I could put like a framed photo or something. So I think when I do fill that space, it would look better. I also need to figure out where I'm putting back these books. I'm like looking at it and I feel like I want to put my physical TBR on that shelf, because right now my physical TBR is all of that and all of this. And they're like kind of separated even though they're on the same like level. And I'm thinking just put all of them on this shelf so they're just all together. And then I have one more shelf over there. I'll show you where I put that after. And now I'm just thinking that I need to reorganize all of my books. Which do I? Maybe not, but I don't know why I decided to randomly do this. I like how this turned out. I feel like it makes a lot more sense for the general space, because before the chair was kind of at an awkward angle and jutting out a little bit, and this is like the entryway, and then the shelf that was here was also a little bit out, which I didn't have a problem with originally, but then I guess over time it started to look weird to me. And I feel like visually for videos this might not look the best right now, or it might look plain, but I think once I decorate this little empty space here with some framed photos, it could look better. My thing with this is that I can always move it back. Or if I hate what I do with this now, 2 months from now, I can move it all around. It doesn't really matter to me. I feel like I don't have to commit that much. I could just feel it out and see what I'm thinking of it, but I do like that all of my physical TBR is on one shelf. And also, there's a lot more empty space, which again might not look visually appealing right now, but I feel like when you have bookshelves and you're collecting books and you're a reader, having a lot of space on bookshelves is the best case scenario. Not having enough space, now that's when you have a problem. So I never realized how many shelves this chair was actually blocking. There's still these two being blocked, but a lot more space opened up. I read some more and I got to a point where there's a detective. Who is this detective? I'm intrigued and I like him. But where did he come from? Did I miss something in the description? Oh yeah, that's definitely in the description. I just didn't read all the way down there. I think I know where this is going now, but I like this. Maybe, I don't even know. I'm on page 175, chapter 15 of The Misconnection. I feel like it's going by so fast. It's going well so far. I remember I said earlier that he knows her name and she doesn't know his. I don't know where I got that from. They don't know each other's names. So she's looking for this man and she doesn't know his name, and even if he's looking for her, he can't find her either because he doesn't know her name either. But they're on the case now with the hot detective. We also learned why she's traumatized, and that part of it, it's really bad, but also like, why did it feel kind of unserious? I think like Tia Williams did that on purpose to keep the book light, because the book does feel like light and funny, but there's some deeper topics in here, and there are more serious parts to it, but I don't know, I think the way that it was handled just felt a little bit crazy. I'm definitely gonna do spoilers at the end of this video because I feel like I can better get my point across if I gave spoilers, but I won't do that now. At the end of this video, I will talk about spoilers. I'm actually gonna put on The Parent Trap now while I read some more. I don't know if I'll get distracted and not read, but we'll see. But I do feel like watching The Parent Trap, it feels like a great summer movie. They're literally at summer camp, but also they leave summer camp, they go back home, and I just remember that one scene when the one twin goes back to London and it's like rainy. Something about that to me feels like summer into fall. So it feels like the perfect time to rewatch The Parent Trap, and I just love that movie so much. So I'm gonna rewatch The Parent Trap. Maybe I'll read while I'm watching because it's a movie that I've literally seen a million times. I don't need to pay that much attention. But as I said, I don't know if I'll get distracted. Why did I just realize that this is literally Bonnie from The Vampire Diaries? And now I need to start watching The Vampire Diaries again, which would be perfect for fall. Why am I tearing up? I have these vivid memories of the scene where they had to pierce her ears because obviously she couldn't go to camp with pierced ears and come home without. I have these memories on Disney Channel when they would show The Parent Trap. They would edit out the part where it actually like shows it because I guess that was like too graphic for kids. And then on like ABC Family and stuff, they would show it. So there were like two different versions of this. And seeing it here, maybe that was too graphic because why did that make me uncomfortable? What do you mean? You're just piercing your ear with whatever that was and an apple. What is that? Also, I have been tearing up so much for no good reason. I feel like when I rewatch childhood movies, like, yeah, I tear up, but like Matilda is one of them that I love. But that movie is sad. The way that they treated that child, that is so sad. This isn't sad at all. This is actually so hopeful and sweet. I don't know why I keep tearing up. It's happy tears, I think. I'm literally crying at her meeting her mother. I know everything that's gonna happen. Why am I crying? I need my glasses to see, but I can't wear them because I'm crying. This is so stupid of me. I'm dying at the fact that when I was younger, I thought that the way they lived was perfectly normal. Like the concept of class wasn't a thing to me yet. These people are so rich. The Napa house is insane. I watched this and just thought that this was normal. I miss my innocence. I miss my youth. These aren't the ones that roll out, so my plan to put the pumpkin in the middle, yeah, that's not gonna work. So maybe I'll do that next time because they definitely have brands that still roll out. I could have sworn that these did, but I haven't had these specific cinnamon rolls in so long, so maybe they just don't make them like that anymore. But I remember making these a lot in my childhood, and they were like actual rolls where you could undo it yourself and put anything you want in there. Am I making that up? Am I thinking of something else? But I'll find one and I'll do this another time. Because I don't think I will ever actually make cinnamon rolls from scratch. Just finished The Misconnection. I feel like there were moments in this book that I was meant to be taking seriously and I just wasn't. It was such a silly, goofy little time and I enjoyed it. I had fun reading this, but I just thought it was so unserious. At the beginning of the book, when this literally happened in the first chapter, when she sends out that mass email trying to find this man and she's like embarrassed because she sent it out to all of her work colleagues, they kept replying to her about how they found their loves. It was just like the sense of hope throughout the entire story. I feel like this book was so many different things. We're obviously looking for this guy from the plane and she's doing so with a detective and there's like a real investigation going on. So there's a bit of a mystery to it, honestly, which I guess I should have seen coming, but I don't know. I guess I didn't think it was going to be like that. Like some parts of it, I felt like I was reading a cozy mystery. But the serious part about it is the main character, Sasha, she discusses a lot of her anxiety, and I really liked that part. Bits and pieces of it was just so relatable. The dialogue in here is just so funny, which I loved. I really loved how funny the dialogue was. I think towards the end though, it got to a point where I was kind of like, everyone just needs to say how they feel right now. I'm getting irritated. Like, just say how you feel. Stop bottling it all up. We're all adults here. T. Williams is such an interesting author to me because I feel like all of her books are so different. Like 7 Days in June is so emotional and it's like a deep cut. It's definitely a deep cut for me. And then also the writing is like so poetic. And then what was the other book that I read by her? Wait, it's at the back of this. Let me find it. The Perfect Find. Oh my god. I'm not gonna talk too much about that because I really don't like it, but it's just so different from 7 Days in June. And then she has a YA book that's about the daughter of the woman from 7 Days in June, and even though like obviously that's in the same world and everything, it's a YA book, so it's very, very different from her adult reads. I haven't read A Love Song to Ricky Wilde, I think that's what it's called, but Ricky Wilde was mentioned in this book, and I'm pretty sure this book, the Ricky Wilde one, and also 7 Days in June, and obviously the YA one, I'm pretty sure they're all in the same universe, because all of her books are set in New York. I don't actually know though, because I haven't read Ricky Wilde, so I don't know if like people from 7 Days in June was mentioned, but Ricky Wilde was mentioned in this one. And I've heard that Ricky Wilde is a little bit of like magical realism, but once again I was told that that one is really different from 7 Days in June, because after I read 7 Days in June and I was so obsessed with it, I was like, I really need to read the next one, which was Ricky Wilde at the time, and people were saying like, oh, just go into it knowing that it's really different. And I feel like this is also really, really different and quite a unique plot. Like, I mean, I've never read anything like this. Meeting a man on a plane, then searching for him with another man. I loved it though. I'm giving this 4 stars and my tummy hurts. from eating the cinnamon rolls. I had 2 of them. I should have just stopped at 1. But it was just so good. Anyway, I'm feeling kind of romanced out. Like I'm kind of over romance. It's just a feeling I had right now. Like I was getting to the end of this and I was like, all right, just get together and leave me alone. But I was gonna read The Summer Girlfriend next. Now I don't know if I want to, just because it's romance and I want to give that book its fair chance. Maybe I'll look at my shelf and see what else I have that's like summery, that's not romance. Or maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be in a different mood. Oh my god, my stomach hurts. I gotta go. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna read next. I was choosing between Hot Wax and The Summer Girlfriend last night, and then I just went to sleep instead. I know that this is more so a mystery, but it's still set in summer 1989. So I'm kind of intrigued by this, and maybe it would kind of break up the romance books I've been reading, but also maybe I just needed to sleep it off. And maybe I'll be in the mood to pick this up a little bit later, but for right now I'm actually going to, you know, that those like areas that's like the TJ Maxx, the World Market, the Home Goods, the Barnes and Noble, all that combination, the combination that makes you want to spend all your money. Yeah, I'm going there to see what kind of fall stuff they have so I can start launching into fall, because today, actually yesterday, instead of being like 98 degrees, it was like 91 and I felt great. And today I think it's like 89, and so it's like this is my fall. So yeah, I'm gonna go see what I can find, if I do find anything, and then I'll come back and really decide which one I'm gonna read. To Home Goods, TJ Maxx, and Barnes, and I wasn't gonna go to Barnes. I feel like I didn't need anything, but then they had signs on the door that they had 50% off some hardcovers, which I feel like Barnes never has sales. Like, I know they usually do the hardcover sale. It's either at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. And I feel like I always miss that. Like, I see people doing their hauls online and I'm like, oh, that's happening. I completely forgot. And then I just never get anything. But they were doing that randomly in August. I don't know if it's like my store specifically or this is a nationwide thing, but I saw it and I was like, I need to go check it out. I'll show you what I got from there in a minute, but the fall stuff that I got from Home Goods and TJ Maxx, I really, like, candles was really, really what I wanted. Once it smells like fall in here, it's perfect. So one of the candles that I got, Fallen Leaves. I can't really describe what that smells like, but it smells like fall. I also got this apple sandal one. I love the label of this. I feel like that's so cute. That's my favorite one. I got this autumn citrus, and it has pumpkins on the top. This one, honestly, smells exactly like what it says, autumn citrus. I don't know how else to describe that, but this one I feel like would be great in my bathroom. Oh, the last thing I got at TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx sells books, and I feel like this isn't a new thing for anyone. I've been seeing this online as well. Everyone's been book shopping at TJ Maxx, and I'm like, that's so cool. My TJ Maxx doesn't have books, and I swear, I think the last time I went to TJ Maxx was like in May. I swear they did not have any books the entire time, so it's like, maybe mine just doesn't have books yet, or they never will because maybe it's just a smaller one. Other locations might have books, and that's just something I've been so jealous of, because people find great things for like half price, and I also don't know what that's about. So the one book that I got at TJ Maxx, Into the Blue. This was an amazing find. I really couldn't believe that this was there for $14.99. It's originally $30. So yeah, exactly half price. And it's just like, why? How are they able to sell books half price? I don't know the science behind this. I literally was looking at the book to see if something's wrong with it. Is there like a misprint somewhere? I mean, I think I'm gonna have to read the entire book to figure out if there's a misprint, but yeah, I don't know. Seems perfectly fine to me. I don't understand TJ Maxx fully, but love that place. So that's the only book that I got from TJ Maxx, but I'll show you the rest of the books in a minute. Some fun goods. I got this Snoopy mug that says "Happy Fall, y'all," but I just think that that's so cute, and I needed a huge mug because eventually I will start drinking hot coffee again. I kind of miss it, honestly. I feel like I only discovered a good hot coffee recipe like really late winter. Like it was already starting to warm up for spring, and that's when I discovered a really good hot coffee recipe, and so I didn't have enough time with it and I miss it. This one's not really fall. I just thought it was really cute. The icon cups. This one has a bunch of swans on it. I love swans. This one's pretty fall. Pumpkins, another icon cup. As for the other books that I got from Barnes that were all 50% off for hardcovers, The Rest of Our Lives by Ben Markovitz. This was actually a book that I had on like my mental TBR, just a book that I've heard good things about. It's about this man who finds out his wife is having an affair, but he doesn't leave her until his last child is going off to college, and then he goes on a road trip. He's like driving her to college, and he decides to like go on a road trip, and he's figuring out his life. It's like the beginning of the rest of his life. And it says pitch perfect, tender, and keenly observed. The Rest of Our Lives is a story about what to do when the rest of your life is only just the beginning of your story. Yeah, I've heard good things, and I've been curious about it. And for some reason, it's reminding me of The Road to Tender Hearts. Where is that book? Okay, it's too far away. But The Road to Tender Hearts was about an old man who went on a road trip as well. And it was really wholesome, so the fact that this is described as tender, it kind of just reminded me of that. This book, Like Family by Erin White, that's so fall. And I saw this book last year fall and I never actually picked it up. And I was like, I'll try again next year. And the cover is just so perfect for the season. And this is about, I think this has to do with like family drama. It's set in New York. And I don't exactly know, but I do remember I was very intrigued by it last year. So I decided to pick it up when it's on sale. Pretty sure all of these, actually I know for a fact that these are going on sale as hardcovers because they're out in paperback. Like I literally saw the paperback version of this on the front table, and then this one was like off to the side on sale. So this was $15. Wait, $14.50, and the paperback was $19. So Laws of Love and Logic. This is a book that when it first came out, I was so intrigued by it. And then my curiosity kind of died down because I did see some people say that it was slow to get into. And I mean, sometimes that's fine, but I think at the time I just wasn't in the mood for that, so I never picked it up. And I just feel like one day I will still want to read it. And I'm still pretty interested. So I'm gonna put it on my TBR and we'll see when I get to it. So yeah, I feel like these were some really great finds today. All hardcovers, all 50% off. And I'm so excited that I got this because I've been thinking about doing a video on all the really buzzy books that I missed. I feel like there are certain books that a lot of people have been talking about and a lot of people have agreed they're amazing and they just love them so much. And this is one of them. Another one of them is Main Characters, which I did also just get recently. So yeah, maybe I'll do a video on that. I definitely need to read these because everyone's been talking about them and I feel left out. I want to know what I think of them. took a while to really get into this book, and it makes me wonder if the reason why I couldn't get into The Neighbor Favor is because of the writing. But basically what I've been having a little bit of an issue with is that this book is so detailed and descriptive, but I feel like with things that don't really matter. For example, there was one time when his mom was calling him, and there were like 2 paragraphs describing his mom's contact photo before telling us he's not even gonna answer. And I'm just like, what was all that for? Like, I don't think I care what your mom's contact photo is. I guess it's meant to show us how close he is with her, but surely we didn't need 2 paragraphs to learn that about a contact photo. The small things, to me, don't need that much of a description. At least that's not my preference when reading. It also can get kind of repetitive with all these details, like the amount of times she said how much the main character Noelle, the female main character, loves Smith's sweets. And there's a reason for it. Like, we need to hold on to that information to make the connections, but like, we get it. It's really not that hard to make the connection. Like, I think you should trust the reader enough to know that we'll get it, and we don't need to be fed the information 500 times. We get it. She likes Smith's sweets, and that's gonna be really important when we find out more about Smith's sweets. Please. Anyway, that's originally why I was taking kind of long to get into it, but I told myself that this wasn't gonna be like The Neighbor Favor. I was going to give it a chance, and I was gonna stick it out because I know I'm just being picky, and I know it's me. I know I'm the problem. I got to chapter 11, which is page 139, and one thing I'm really loving about this is that fake dating sometimes can feel so unnatural, and how they come about, the arrangement can feel unnatural, and just like the reasons that they're doing it can feel silly sometimes. But this one feels, it just flowed so well, because Noelle, she is, did I ever say what this is about? I always forget to do that. But basically, Noelle, she is saving up to go back to university, and she's doing so by working at a bookstore. And the other side quest that she does is that she gets paid to be a bridesmaid. Like, when someone doesn't have enough bridesmaids, or someone doesn't have enough friends or whatever, or maybe they don't want their family in the wedding, whatever it is, you can go on this website and pay for a bridesmaid. I wonder if that exists in real life. Anyway, Noelle does that. And when she runs into Jeremiah, who has been telling his mom that he has a girlfriend so that he can avoid going back to the beach house, he's been like, I can't come to the beach house. I'm spending time with my girlfriend. And his mom is like excited for him. It's like, great, that's fine. But it gets to a point where she's just like, okay, bring her to the beach house. And they want to meet her and everything. So when he is at the bookstore that she works for and finds out that she does this fake bridesmaid thing, he requested her as a girlfriend instead. It's like, hey, I know you already do this kind of fake thing. Like, you're already good at pretending and acting, and I can help you out, and you can help me. So it was just like a perfect arrangement. And I feel like that just came about naturally, and the way that it flowed, and I loved how it fell into place in that specific scene. So that's how they're fake dating. That's Noelle's issue. That's Jeremiah's issue. And that's how we're at the beach house right now with Jeremiah's family. We have learned a lot about Jeremiah and why he's been avoiding his family, why he's been avoiding the beach house. We also learn Noelle's backstory as to why she stopped school and why she's going back now, and how she wanted, what she wants to study. We've learned so much about their backstories, and I love them both separately. So I'm ready to see them together. I'm ready to see the tension build and all of that. It was just kind of like the writing in the first couple chapters, which is kind of funny because I remember when I was trying to read The Neighbor Favor, everyone was telling me, girl, stick to it. And maybe I really should have, but I did try like 3 times. And so it got to a point. This time I did stick to it. I'm really glad that I did because I don't know, I feel very hopeful about it right now. And I'm at the point where I really want to pick up the book. I'm gravitating towards it. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm gonna continue reading now. I finished The Summer Girlfriend, and I feel like this was an ad for Smith's Sweets, even though Smith's Sweets doesn't exist, it's not real, but I felt like I was just reading an ad for it. I never want to see the words salted caramel chocolate chip cookie ever again. It was mentioned so many times, and it's just like, oh, here we go again. I mean, I get it, I get why it was a huge part of the story, but jeez. I honestly feel like this book was maybe just a little bit too long. It's 379 pages, almost 400 pages. And I think maybe it could have been shorter. It was starting to lose me somewhere in the middle. I felt like it was a little bit uninteresting. They were kind of boring me a little bit, but I liked them both as people and I was rooting for them. I was rooting for them to go be boring and happy together. But yeah, I have to admit, I did get a little bit bored somewhere in the 379 pages, unfortunately. I really love his family though. They keep going back to the beach house every weekend to go spend time with his family. That's why he needed the fake girlfriend in the first place. And yeah, I really loved that part. I feel like I also got a hint of who the next book is about. If this is a series, I actually have no idea. I assume it is. And I feel like I got a hint of who the next book would be about. And that sounds fun. I don't know if I would read it though. Because this one, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't in the best mood for this. There's an aspect to this book where he's meant to be moving to California. And of course, when they admit that they like each other, it's like, yeah, we're not gonna think about that. You know, we just wait till the summer ends and see what happens. They always do this. I'm like, is this a good idea? No, obviously it's not. I don't know why they always do this. Like, let's just enjoy the summer, the time that we have. Like, no, that's a terrible idea. But of course, these summer books, they have a lot of that going on. Anyway, I think Christina Forrest is a good writer. Maybe she's just not for me. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood for this because I liked bits and pieces of it. I really liked the characters and I liked the setup of the story. I love how good they were at communicating with each other. They were actually communicating like adults, which seems to be rare in romance books these days. And so I really love that, but I don't know, something about the writing didn't fully do it for me and it lost me a couple times while I was reading it. I'm gonna give this book 3 stars. Not my perfect summary, but I think it could be someone's perfect summary. And I think if this becomes a series, I could potentially be interested in the next one. I want to get to the spoiler part of this video. I want to talk about spoilers for the previous books that I read. So if you don't want any spoilers for any of these books, you can log off now and I'll say goodbye. But right now I'm doing spoilers. So starting with Dolly all the time, basically the thing that I disliked about this third act conflict is that obviously we know there's going to be fallout when the family finds out that it was a fake girlfriend and he's a fraud, whatever. Okay, fine. There's this fallout and she was just standing there embarrassed and waiting for him to be like, oh, it's okay, like this, we know that this is real now, and leave with her and, you know, kind of just reassure her a little bit, or even be like, I need to deal with this, but I'm coming back to you later and we'll have our time, whatever it is. She was just waiting for some reassurance and that never came, and then he just ghosted her. Ew. Like that entire part was just like annoying. And then Dolly was the one to go confront him. Like he would never have reached out if she didn't go confront him. And that's the thing that was just like aching me out. Like You're the one that reacted so poorly and you're not even groveling. She had to come to your workplace to confront you. Speaking of that confrontation, oh my God, she took her best friend with her. What are we, 12? These are people in their 30s. You have a child and you're taking your best friend with you to confront this man, and she's like telling him off, and her best friend is in the background like, yeah, making little snarky comments. I'm like, are we 12? That entire scene also just like icked me out. Like everyone was just like, I hate everything about this. Can we be adults right now? He obviously came to his senses and came back to her, which I guess is great. And I know the reason why it was set up as Dolly being the one to confront him is because like she's had problems with that in the past and stuff, and so it was like a character arc for her to be able to go speak her mind, whatever. And it's just like, yeah, I get it, but like also you. This man ghosted you, Dolly. And I just feel like they fell back into place so easily. But Dolly did, I remember there was a part where she did admit that like she can't pretend she doesn't like him, you know. I think she was just at a point where she didn't see any purpose in like, no, stay away from me, I'm angry at you and whatever, and wasting more of their time, because she still loved him. But like, good for her. I couldn't. I don't even have any spoilers about the summer girlfriend because truly I feel like not much happened. For the misconnection, I tried to be as vague as possible when it came to her trauma, because you kind of like find that out gradually, and it was the fact that someone was stalking her. And bits and pieces of that felt so unserious to me, like the scene where she was at home and she thought that the stalker was breaking into her house, so she jumped out a back window. And I was just like, why does this feel so like cartoonish? It feels a bit comical, but like she's genuinely terrified. She's like running for her life. But just the way that the scene was written and set up felt a little bit comical. And I don't know if Tia Williams did that on purpose to like keep it light and not traumatize us as the readers too much, but I felt bad for like laughing a little bit because she's going through so much. So basically, with that being her trauma, the detective that helped her with that stalker situation is who she went back to find this man from the plane. And honestly, for me, as soon as the detective came in the book, I didn't care about the plane man anymore. I was just like, okay, I know where this is going, let's just focus here. And it got kind of irritating when they wouldn't admit their feelings for each other. It's like, you guys have history. You don't even really know this man from the plane. Like, let's be serious right now. And I just wanted them to admit their feelings, but that didn't happen. And he was spending so much time thinking like, she's literally looking for another man. She literally hired me to look for another man, and I can't go there, and she doesn't want me, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, it's getting obvious, guys. Let's talk to each other and let's just admit things to each other. The misconnection was 4, Dolly all the time, 3.5, and the summer girlfriend, 3 stars. If you got to this point in the video, comment a plain emoji for the misconnections. This was the star of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!